Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jannavalabha Girivadadari. Gopi Jannavalabha Girivadadari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamunatiravanachari. Yamunatiravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. You mind getting some batteries? Praha Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Brahmane Bhagavat Proktam Brahma Kalpa Upagate. Praha Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Brahmane Bhagavat Proktam Brahma Kalpa Upagate. Praha Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Brahmane Bhagavat Proktam Brahma Kalpa Upagate.
Bhagavatam Nama
Praha Bhagavatam Nama
Puranang Brahma Samhitam.
Puranam Brahma Samhitam.
Pramane Bhagavat Proktam.
Brahmane Bhagavat Proktam.
Brahma Kalpa Upagate.
Brahma Kalpa Upagate.
Raha Bhagavatam Nama
Raha Bhagavatam Nama.
Puranam Brahma Samhitam
Puranam Brahma Samhitam.
Brahmane Bhagavat Proktam
Brahmane Bhagavat Proktam.
Brahma Kalpa Upagate.
Brahma Kalpa.
Aha Bhagavatam Nama
Raha Bhagavatam Nama.
Puranam Brahma Samhitam
Puranam Brahma Samhitam.
Brahmane Bhagavat Proktam
Brahmane Bhagavat Proktam.
Brahma Kalpa Upagate.
Brahma Kalpa Upagate.
Raha Bhagavatam Nama
Raha Bhagavatam Nama.
Puranam Brahma Samhitam
Samhitam.
Brahmane Bhagavat Proktam
Brahmane Bhagavat Proktam.
Brahma Kalpa Upagate
Brahma Kalpa Upagate.
Raha Bhagavatam Nama
Raha Bhagavatam Nama.
Puranam Brahma Samhitam
Purana Brahma Samhitam.
Brahmane Bhagavatam Proktam
Brahmane Bhagavatam Proktam.
Brahma Kalpa Upagate.
Brahma Kalpa Upagate. All right. Raha. He said, Bhagavatam, the science of the personality of Godhead. Nama, of the name. Puranam, the supplement of the Vedas. Brahma Samhitam, just in pursuance of the Vedas. Brahmane, unto Lord Brahma. Bhagavat Proktam, was spoken by the personality of Godhead. Brahma Kalpe, the millennium in which Brahma was first generated. Upagate, just in the beginning. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. He began to reply to the inquiries of Maharaj Parikshit by saying that the science of the personality of Godhead was spoken first by the Lord himself to Brahma when he was first born. Srimad Bhagavatam is the supplementary Vedic literature, and it is just in pursuance of the Vedas. Purport. Srimad Bhagavatam is the science. Can we turn on in the kitchen? You can hear the words actually in the temple. Purport. Srimad Bhagavatam was the science of the personality of Godhead. The impersonalist always tries to misrepresent the personal feature of the Lord, not knowing the science of this great knowledge. And Srimad Bhagavatam is in pursuance of the Vedas and scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead. To learn this science, one should take shelter of the representative of Sri Shukadev Goswami and follow in the footsteps of Maharaj Parikshit, without foolishly attempting to interpret, thereby committing a great offense at the feet of the Lord. The dangerous ways of interpretations by the non-devotee class of men have played havoc in understanding the Srimad Bhagavatam, and the careful student should be always alert in this matter if he at all wants to learn the science of Godhead. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Ganim Yad Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam. So it's important that we hear Bhagavatam from devotees who are properly have understood the Bhagavatam from another devotee and who are properly following what's in the Bhagavatam. When the non-devotees or impersonalists speak on the transcendental topics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, like this was spoken in a class the other day, it's like milk, and then it's touched by the lips of a serpent. If you actually drink milk that a serpent drinks out of, you actually get poisoned. So we want to hear from devotees. And that's what's amazing about this Krishna consciousness movement is that all of the devotees who are followers of Srila Prabhupada, who have heard from Srila Prabhupada and are following his instructions, when they speak, you just get the best thing. So on any of the topics that are in Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, in Vedic culture, with actually on anything that you hear about, when you hear from someone who's a real follower of Srila Prabhupada, you get the best thing because they just bring it back to Sarvadharman Prityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Ham Tom Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishami Ma Suchaha. That whatever topic they're speaking on, they know how to give you the essence of it, which is that Krishna says to just surrender unto him. All other duties are lower duties when it comes to surrendering to Krishna. So that's Srila Prabhupada all throughout all of the Bhagavatam, all throughout all the Bhagavad Gita. He keeps that focus there in the most perfect way and convinces us with every sentence that, okay, I should give up my plans that have kept me in this material world, birth after birth, and just surrender unto Krishna. And similarly, when we hear from his followers, that they're always bringing it back to that. So it's really nice. No matter, there's times when Srila Prabhupada or even one of his followers will speak on different subjects, such as politics or history or different things in Vedic culture, different arts of Vedic culture. But when we hear from them, we get some knowledge of that. And then before you know it, we're thinking, okay, how can I surrender my life to Krishna? Because they bring it back to that essential point. And Srila Prabhupada explains how before he came to America, there's many interpretations of the Bhagavad Gita and no one became a devotee. But he says, since he came to this country and presented Bhagavad Gita as it is, now so many people are becoming devotees all over the world. And he said, what's my qualification? Simply that I have presented Bhagavad Gita as it is. So he makes this point often, especially in lectures in India, that he says, I don't have any personal qualification, but because I'm presenting it as it is, the same thing that Krishna said, now so many people are joining. He said, I'm just an old man. What do I have to offer these people from America? There they have abundance of wealth, sense gratification, whatever they want, they can go and get it. He said, I can't even, he was in Bombay, where at that time they just had like a hut for the devotees to live in. The altar was also just kind of a hut. He said, I can't even provide proper, shelter and arrangement and facilities for them. And still they're giving their whole life to me. He said, why is that? Because I'm just presenting it as it is. That Krishna says, surrender unto me. And he's saying, surrender unto Krishna. But then it's pretty easy to know when we're hearing from someone not in the line of Srila Prabhupada. You immediately just feel strange because that essence is gone. There's no surrender unto Krishna. It's just, yeah, whatever feels good, whatever makes you feel good, whatever makes you give me money, whatever like this. But Srila Prabhupada is always giving us the essential teachings, which is the Bhagavad Gita, which is give up all lower duties and just surrender to Krishna. Then everything is perfect. So here's a few quotes in this regard from Srila Prabhupada. Preaching only what you have heard from Krishna and Guru. That's all. Don't add and subtract. Then you are secure. That was from a conversation on February 3rd, 1977. Okay. We sincerely serve Krishna. We are sincere servants of his lordship, and we present things as presented by Krishna. And that is the test of our bona fide position and our bona fide presentation. That's a letter from May 5th, 1972. This next one is a letter from November 15th, 1968. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are... Oh, wait, no, that's... Sorry, I might have clicked on the wrong one. That was Bhagavad Gita that I was starting to read. Sorry. But that's actually helpful anyways. That in the Bhagavad Gita, it explains Krishna says that those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are the lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. So we see all these different interpretations of Vedic literature, of so-called, things that people present as welfare activities, all these different things that people present without the essence of surrender to Krishna. It's not in line with God. And it's of the atheistic nature of demons. Those who don't surrender to Krishna, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, they have the nature of demons, asura bhavam, that demoniac nature. But Srila Prabhupada, who's a great surrendered servant of Krishna, he's always giving us that essence, that just surrender unto Krishna. Here's one more. Namam duskritino mudha prapadyante naradama. These are the words used in the Bhagavad Gita. It is not our manufactured word. People may be very unhappy or angry, but we have to quote from these scriptures. We must condemn anyone who is not Krishna conscious. I don't condemn, Krishna condemns. Namam duskritino mudha. So this is nice. Srila Prabhupada is always giving the real thing. But actually you can read any sentence in his purports and connect it to some quote in Bhagavad Gita or some quote from Shastra. But he's presenting everything in just the perfect way for us to understand it. But you can look through each purport and see, okay, well, which part of the Bhagavad Gita is this coming from? Or which part of the Shastra? And you can find an exact verse with each statement that he's making. So does anybody have any comments or questions on this auspicious day? Yes, Jai Keshava Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. I was just going to say that, when we read in Srila Prabhupada's purports, what he's saying is timeless. It doesn't change with time, place, or circumstance. He's just speaking the truth. And so it's applicable in every moment, especially in the material world. So I was thinking, like, these books he's published are eternal. But that mean they are eternal. Srimad Bhagavatam is eternal. But the commentary he's made is also eternal. Because we can apply it in any time in our lives. And in past and present and future.
Yeah, like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that when one actually, the devotee, they attain his nature. One who remembers him at the time of death, they get a nature like his. So this is the nature of a pure devotee, is they have the qualities like Krishna. So what is one of the qualities of Krishna? Everything he says is truthful. So everything Srila Prabhupada is saying is truthful and applies in all places, in all times, all circumstances. So like you're saying, everything in his books is the perfect prescription for everyone, everywhere. And that's why so many people, so many jiva souls are just, dying to actually get this literature of Srila Prabhupada, even if they don't know it. Because nothing else is going to help them in this material world. So if we actually try to share these books of Srila Prabhupada, one, Srila Prabhupada will be pleased, Krishna will be pleased, and then also those people who are getting them are completely, their whole life is transformed after millions of births in this material world. Ananda Prabhu, did you have any things you want to share on this auspicious day? Oh, okay. I thought there was. I don't know if I'm supposed to allowed to stand up.
Well, my question is, I hear that we have to surrender to Krishna, right? But what if I don't agree with something that's revealed in the scripture, or what should I do? Like at that point, if I don't is something that's saying in the scripture says to like this, but I don't think I can do it, or I don't agree with it. What should I do or if I can't follow it?
Well, that doesn't mean that then that thing is wrong. Which I've heard this kind of, I guess you could say, misconception or something, that because I can't follow something that was given by a pure devotee of Krishna, or because I can't follow something that's given by Srila Prabhupada or in the scripture, therefore it's wrong. Or because I don't understand it or I don't agree with it, then I can bring up these other justifications and things. But that doesn't really make much sense. Someone might not be able to actually follow something at a certain time, but that doesn't mean that what's given in the scripture is wrong, because whatever Krishna is giving, that's perfect knowledge. All knowledge is coming from him. And so whatever his representative is giving, it's the same quality. It's the absolute truth that's being spoken. So yeah, it doesn't mean that, okay, I'm not able to fully surrender to Krishna, therefore, well, what Krishna said in that regard isn't correct because it doesn't work for me. But actually, we should see that, okay, here's what Krishna is saying, fully surrender unto me. So that's what I should be striving for, even if I'm not actually able to do that at the moment because of material attachments or whatever. But that's still what's absolutely best for me and everyone, because it's coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's still the goal of what I'm trying to get to. And then I do the needful to get there. Does that make sense? Was that a proper answer?
Well, what if I, for example, just wanted some things I understand why they're true and they make sense to me, but some things I'm convinced this is unreasonable. You know, why would Krishna want us to do this? This is not the proper time or circumstance for us to do these things. I can give many examples. Well, I'm trying to understand the principle. I don't want to get into the details because there's hundreds of examples. Like, for example, someone may say, I don't want to follow the 4 regulative principles, or I don't want to get up early in the morning. For whatever reason, even though it's the order of Krishna to do there's so many hundreds of rules that we have to follow, but I don't want to do them. It's like, or I don't want to be clean, for example. There are many small principles in cleanliness that are small, but I don't feel like doing it. But I want to be a devotee of Krishna, but I'm having a hard time following all these given in the scriptures. So what should I do? How do I get over my hang up so I can come up to that?
I didn't mean to look at my phone while you were saying some of that. There were quotes from Prabhupada that were really relevant. I was trying to find one that would be exactly relevant to this. But yeah, the solution is never just to compromise that, okay, because I'm not able to follow something, therefore, it should be changed or there should be some compromise. Like Srila Prabhupada never agrees with that. I just read earlier 10 quotes about how he says not to compromise. Everyone who doesn't surrender to Krishna is a rascal. Things like that. So that's the truth. That's the position that we're in. If we can't right away take up everything Krishna says, then we work towards that, because the process of Krishna consciousness is purifying. So people pick it up wherever they can start at and then make progress toward the goal of pure devotional service. But it's not that, okay, because I can't surrender to Krishna or I can't be a pure devotee right away, then I'll, make some compromise and say, well, actually, Krishna didn't mean it like that. He didn't mean fully surrender to him. He just meant, do the best you can, take prasadam. No, Krishna said fully surrendered unto him. So that means everything. But the devotee fully gives everything for the service of Krishna. But wherever somebody's at, they can take up devotional service, and the process itself is purifying. So, yeah, someone might think, I like a lot of this. I'm not sure about some of it, and I've got some attachments that are preventing me from practicing all of it. So then they might just come to the Sunday feast and take prasadam, be in the kirtan, associate with devotees. But by doing those activities, they'll gradually get purified to take it up more. If they're still getting the full thing, which is if they say, okay, I can't do everything, so I come to the Sunday feast, and then people tell them, well, actually what you're doing is perfect. Krishna said that one should engage in his service without interruption and without any personal motivation, but only coming to the temple on Sunday is the same as engaging in devotional service without any interruption 24/7. If they hear that, then yeah, their progress will probably be stunted. But if they keep coming around and doing whatever service they can do, then, and they're also getting the real message, not changing it, then they'll be gradually purified, right? By engaging in Krishna service to some capacity. So, but then those who, like in our case, everyone here, we've taken it up full time. So we're living in the temple, we're engaged in Krishna's service throughout the whole day. So for us, then it's different than that person who's not exactly at that standard yet. So for us, that means, okay, we follow the 4 regulative principles. We, follow the whole program, the whole temple program. We chant Hare Krishna 16 rounds, read Prabhupada's books. And then we preach from Prabhupada's books in the same way as he's given it, presenting it as it is. So for us, it'll be a little different than for that person. But even for that person, someone who's not like at a standard of fully engaging in the devotional service, able to follow everything, they can also preach Krishna consciousness. But the important thing is that they don't change it. Like what we're hearing here, the dangerous way, this is in the purport, the dangerous ways of interpretations by the non-devotee class of men have played havoc in understanding the Srimad Bhagavatam. So if they're giving their own interpretations, then that will just play havoc. It'll be a disturbance in society. Like there's that great verse that explains if one like Ranadi Pancharatriki with him Vinaya. Yeah, if one practices devotional service whimsically, it's simply a disturbance in society. So that shouldn't be the alternative. Okay, I can't take up everything the way that Krishna gives it. So I'll just practice whimsically according to what I feel, what I think. Then that's just creating a disturbance. But if someone takes it up as much as they can, they'll gradually get purified, and they can also preach, but from where they're at. So they could meet someone on the street and say, hey, take this book. I'm not able to follow everything in it, but I'm hearing from people who are, and I see, it's definitely really helped them because they're like this and like that. They've got these qualities. And it's also from the little bit that I've been able to take up, it's really helping me because I've been able to be like this and like that. So they can still preach, but they give the same thing and just preach according to where they're at. Okay, those are a few different points on it.
Sorry, bro. Just one last question. So how do we avoid the trap of becoming envious towards or frustrated towards Krishna or the principles that are laid down before us? It says you must do these things and we're not doing it. Then how do we avoid becoming envious or frustrated towards Krishna in the process?
Yeah, that's a good point. So one shouldn't then become envious of pure devotional service and envious of Krishna because I can't follow what he's saying or I can't follow what his representative is giving. So the way that we avoid that is Well, if one knows what is the ideal, and they accept that, okay, this is the ideal thing, what Krishna is saying, what Srila Prabhupada is saying, then they won't be envious. They know this is actually what I have to strive for is pure devotional service. Um, I don't know. Do you have any points on it? I think what is that? Do you know? Okay, since you can remember verses better than me, I'm sorry. I'm in a very despicable position not knowing many verses, but there's that the verse about how one in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is explaining that one who derides the scriptures, they what is the verse? He specifically says those words in it. One who derides the scripture, they're like, you got it? Yeah, what's that? In the English?
Those who don't adhere or follow the scriptures, they don't get any happiness or satis. What is it?
Peace
No,
or the ultimate
not
goal?
sukam, not param gatim. Yeah, they don't get any perfection or achieve the supreme goal.
Yeah. And then isn't there another one about becoming envious of Krishna?
Yes, that's an eight.
Do you remember it? Okay, let's check. That'll be a good one to have for this topic. Um, yeah, here we'll just wait for the verse. Yeah.
I was just gonna say on the part of not becoming frustrated with not being able to like meet a certain follow certain instructions and so on by Krishna or spirit devotee. Uh, there's so many things that have changed in our lives, little things that have changed in our lives since taking up devotional service. So, what makes us think that Krishna is not going to allow us to go on to the next step to change our behavior, or change our habits, or change our lives even more? So, if we just look in the past, we can see, oh, I was able to change that. I was able to give up doing this and replace it with a higher taste. So, one can think logically that, okay, I'm going to be able in the future to give this up also, or to engage more in Krishna's service over time.
That's nice. That's true.
Yeah, that's a valid point. Another point that also comes to mind in that regards is that Krishna may not change us immediately for many reasons, because there are some things we give up like almost immediately we come to devotional service, but some things we have to be very patient with, like giving up that bad habit, whatever it may be. And that's to teach us humility and to also increase our desire to want to serve Krishna more and become more attached to Krishna. Because if he just makes us a pure devotee immediately, we'd be like, we'll take it for granted or we might fall down. Sometimes Krishna keeps a certain thing you're just struggling with for a very long time so that you remain humble and increase your devotion towards him. Okay. This is the verse. Machita sarvadhargani matprasadat tarishyasi atachitvam mahankaram nashoshasi vinangshasi. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all obstacles of conditional life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. So So here, Krishna is referring, being conscious of me means being conscious of my instructions, actually. So,
Yeah. So if someone actually accepts that, okay, these are the instructions of Krishna, and I want to strive to follow them, then they can gradually make progress towards them. But if they want to, deride Krishna's instructions or change them or just turn away from them entirely, then that enviousness of Krishna and his devotees will just grow, right? So, yeah, Krishna gives his instructions in Gita, his representatives who are following Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada as the perfect servant of Krishna, he's giving exactly what Krishna is saying. So if someone takes that up, that's perfect. And if they're not able to for some reason, if they still see and hold that as the ideal, that's what I'm striving to get to, then they're in a safe position because they can make progress towards it and pray for Krishna's help and mercy to do that. But trying to change it or trying to just turn away from it, then that just leaves, then you have to become envious, because how can you, if someone's giving you the perfect thing that's meant for your welfare and then you're saying, okay, actually forget that, how can you not become envious in such a situation? So is there any more points on it?
it's a very subtle thing. It's a fine line because there's many small things that we may not agree with in the scriptures. We have to be very careful, or else we can also even fall into Mayavad.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and we see also modern society, which, or modern civilization, which Srila Prabhupada has termed an uncivilization, an animal society, and these kind of things. It doesn't follow anything of what's given in scripture. So the more that we try to think, okay, well, how can I, because a lot of us coming to Krishna consciousness are coming to get away from the sufferings of this demoniac society, because we see, okay, actually Krishna consciousness is so much better. But then if we start thinking, well, how can I, appeal more to this demoniac society or make some sort of compromise with it, kind of be like half in and half out, then there's a lot of room for this enviousness of Krishna and his instructions to grow. Because if we, acquiesce or try to cozy up to a demoniac society, how would we not get affected when everything they're saying is exactly the opposite of what Krishna is saying?
I just like to add to what you're speaking about. So in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, verse 18, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, a demoniac person, being always against God's supremacy, does not like to believe in the scriptures. He is envious of both the scriptures and the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is caused by his so-called prestige and his accumulation of wealth and strength. He does not know that the present life is a preparation for the next life. Not knowing this, he is actually envious of his own self as well as of others. He commits violence on other bodies and on his own. He does not care for the supreme control of the personality of Godhead because he has no knowledge. Being envious of the scriptures and the supreme personality of Godhead, he puts forward false arguments against the existence of God and denies the scriptural authority. He thinks himself independent and powerful in every action. He thinks that since no one can equal him in strength, power, or wealth, he can act in any way and no one can stop him. If he has an enemy who might check the advancement of his sensual activities, he makes plans to cut him down by his own power.
Yeah. But it's also a description of our society today. So the more we try to, blend in with it or cozy up to it, we can see that that's a dangerous position to be in. Whereas what Srila Prabhupada is presenting and what this Srimad Bhagavatam has been presenting for 5,000 years is not that, but it's a revolution in the impious hearts of a misdirected society. So the more that we actually try to cozy up to the Srimad Bhagavatam and just give people that, the more protected we'll be and the more that others can actually make advancement.
Revolution starts within our own hearts.
Right. Okay, so we'll have the offering to Srila Prabhupada at 12, and everyone who's any volunteers for cooking that is needed and will be appreciated. And then we'll also do the Pushpanjali and Abhishek and Kirtan at that time also at 12. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.